Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order here on December 9th at 6:30 PM, CRA meeting. We could have a roll call, please.
Here.
That's for you. How you doing?
Here.
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 Yes.
Here. Thank you. I got one. If I could get Board Member Hay maybe to lead us in invocation, and then we'll do a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Thank you.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day of opportunity to come in service of this city and the citizens. We ask now that you bless these board members, our staff, help us to do the job that will be pleasing in your sight. Father, as we come into this season of the holidays, we pray that you would give us the spirit, that we will be able to be pleasing in your sight and to help one another to have a happy holiday. And so we say to all, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Hanukkah. And all God's children said, Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go to agenda approvals. Any additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chair,
We've got a second pen.
I'd like to request that we move under new business,
Thank you.
number D, consideration request from the Greater Boynton Beach Chamber of Commerce. Move that up to A. Mr. Porges has some,
I'm sorry, under what?
under new business.
New business?
Move D up to A, make it the first. Mr. Porges is here to answer questions about that, and he has some pressing family matters that he needs to attend to. So I'd like to be able to get him out of here as early as possible.
You want to move that to where did you want to move it to?
Under A, a new business moved from D to A.
Oh, I see, under new, to keep it under new business, but.
Yeah, keep it on new business.
I got you.
Move it to
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Chair, I need to add two items under new business. Item G, consideration of issuing a notice of intent to dispose of real property for 913 Seacrest Avenue. And item H, consideration of intent to dispose of real property for MLK corridor properties.
Get that address again.
Yeah,
You said
say it again.
Seacrest Avenue.
Okay.
Is it Seacrest Boulevard?
It's Seacrest Boulevard.
Okay.
913 North Seacrest Boulevard.
Thank you.
That isn't under A?
No, it's a different item. It has to be a separate item.
And what was the second one you said, Vivian?
The second one is the same item. It's consideration of issuing a notice of intent to dispose of real property for the MLK corridor properties.
That's items G and H added to new business. Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as,
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second, all in favor? Aye. So the motion unanimous. Thank you. Okay, it takes us to informational items by disclosure by the board members and CRA staff. Staff, you have anything you need to disclose?
Yes, I just want to remind everybody that the CRA Boat Parade is Friday, starting at this festivities start at 5:30. Next to Two Georges on the CRA lot. We have Santa, we have music, we have all kinds of things to do. So please come out and watch the boat parade. I think we got over 30 boats right now, 33 boats. So please come out and enjoy this traditional event and help celebrate your community. Thank you.
And, Board Member Hay?
Just like to say that I have no disclosures. The tree lighting was very successful. We had a lot of people to turn out on that Friday afternoon, and the parade was also a good turnout. Had a great time.
Board Member
That's all I have.
Fitzpatrick?
No more disclosure since the city commission meeting where I said I met with the developers at the marina site and then I met with the neighborhood the night later. That's it.
Board Member Costello.
No disclosures.
Board Member Merker?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, under the information from the last commission meeting dealing with CRA appointments, 2 people called me and notified me that they were interested, and I'll be submitting.
They need to submit to the clerk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Board Member McCray?
Thank you, Chairman. I have no disclosure, and I'd like to ditto what was said by Board Member Hay. Thank you.
Board Member Buchanan?
No disclosures, and I would like to ditto that also, and just make a little extra comment that I thought that the tree lighting ceremony and the setup and the lights and everything were exceptionally beautiful. It was an extremely well-done event.
Okay. I just say, I think staff did an outstanding job on the tree lighting and the concert. Really went well. Everything was super. And I know it doesn't happen by itself. It takes a lot of work. You all did a great job. And also the boat parade for the city staff, it was great. And the boat parade, the holiday parade was very nice, went well. So I want to compliment everybody. 2 things. Later on the agenda tonight, we have, we're going to talk about the parking garage in the marina. I did, and under disclosures, I spoke with the owner of 2 Georges and the owner of Banana Boat. So just wanted to disclose that.
Excuse me?
Yes,
I'm sorry, when you're finished.
I'm finished.
I have to say also, under disclosure, I spoke to the owner of 2 Georges. Equal.
Okay. Okay. So we did that. Informational announcements. I guess you did all that there. We'll go to 7A, Appreciation Award for former CRA board member Mark Karageorge. Vivian?
I just want to say that we've been very blessed to have Mark Karageorge sit up here with us for the years that he did. He served his community, not just up here, but on the chamber and also through the planning process for the CRA, different plans. His knowledge of economic development, of housing, has been invaluable for this city and for this board. And he's always, in my opinion and my experience with Mark, he's really been for the citizens of Boynton Beach. And his service and his votes have always proven that. And I want to thank Mark, and I want to present him with a small token of our appreciation. Can you come up, Mark? Thank you, Mark, for everything you do and continue to do in the community of Boynton Beach. Thank you so much. Want to say something?
Yes. Wow. I am humbled, honored, and thrilled to receive this recognition. 9 years ago, Al DeMarco introduced me to Lisa Bright, and I never thought I'd be that involved with the CRA, but I got to tell you something, and it was a pleasure to serve with all of you and the others that I served with as well. Some good times, some bad times, and a lot of in between. But during those 9 years, we got a lot done. And there's still a lot more to do. But I want to personally thank you. You have the best staff, one of the best in the entire state. And you need to appreciate them and the work that they do. And I know that most of you do. I took a page out of Al DeMarco and also Pastor Cheney and Goran Sims and many of you in the way I approach things. I put God first, I put my family second, and I put my community third. And it worked very well for Al because there is not a district in this city that you can't see one of his projects that he was involved with, obviously the largest one being Las Ventanas. And Pastor Cheney was so great at motivating people and giving them hope for what could be. He was on this board for a very short time, but the impact that he had. And you talk about 2 different people. One a very conservative Republican, one a very liberal Democrat, yet they had the same focus and the same priorities. And if I could give any tip to anybody that ever serves on this board, approach it that way. Put God first, put your family second, and put your community third, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. in the time that I was involved, we generated over 400 new jobs in this city. We got a beautiful amphitheater that we're going to enjoy movie night this week at. We've got a great marina that's only getting better every day, and God bless Mike Simon for all the time and effort he's put down there, and so many other great things that this city has. And I just want to say once again how humbled, honored, and thrilled I am to receive this recognition. Thank you.
I know on behalf of the board, we echo everything that Ms. Brooks said about you, and you did. Your service was excellent when you were on the board, and I know that it's not over, that you'll always be involved in this community. Thank you. We'll go to the announcements under B through E. Does the CRA staff want to comment on those items?
Kind of stole Amy's thunder there on the parade.
All you want. Good evening, board. Amy Zimmerman, Boynton Beach CRA Special Events. I'm going to go to E just to recap the holiday event quickly, and then go back to the ones that we still have coming up for December. We decided to separate the events this year, the tree lighting from the parade, and I'm still really pleased with the turnout that we got in light of it being basically a new event and really challenging weather towards the end, up until about 5:15. But it ended up being a really nice family event, and I'm pleased overall with how it turned out, and I think it's beautiful. I think the new tree is gorgeous, and we're getting a lot of really good feedback on how pretty it is and the impact it has on Ocean. So I'd like to see this continue to grow and evolve and become a bigger event and more impactful light thing going on Ocean. So thank you all that came to the event. I appreciate it. And the parade was the city. I know, Mayor, you had said something about that. We had the city plan all that this year. So the accolades would go to Wally Majors and the city team. So the next event we have coming up, as you know, the boat parade. I'm pleased to say we had our captain's meeting last night, and we had a great turnout and a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of returning boats, and I attended 2 other captains meetings for different boat parades in the area, and I was able to recruit some captains from those as well. So we have some new boats in there. I think our biggest yet, with the exception of the Del Rey ones that would usually be in it, we have a 42-foot. So we're getting some bigger boats that are interested in participating. So and we're also starting farther north, which I'm getting great feedback from our community that they're very excited to have more viewing opportunities. So, and I'm partnering with the Coast Guard once again with Otto, that has done it for 12 years. He was at the meeting last night, and so I'm really confident this one's going to be a great one. And I'm excited for the festivities at the Harbor Master Building. I know our venue's a little different, but we'll have face painting and balloon art. We've got some crafts for kids. Santa will be there. We've got, I heard you like this, Mayor, you like steel drums. I've got steel drum players playing holiday music. So,
Right.
and we've got 5 judges so far that will be stationed at 2 Georges. So we're looking forward to that. I hope you all can attend. And then Saturday, we have our Movies in the Park. It's the first Saturday we've done just to keep the holiday things going. And we're showing Elf with Will Ferrell. So it's a very popular movie. And we were permanently moving the movies to amphitheater. We ended up outgrowing Dewey and some of the other challenges. So they're going to start showing it back at the amphitheater now. And I'm thinking we're going to get a really good turnout based on some of the feedback I'm getting from social media. And then the last one for December and for the year, we've got our last concert on December 18th, and our band that night is Uprootin' Hootenanny. And
Highly recommend them.
yes, yes, they have a good following locally, and there'll be food and drink available for purchase. I'm doing a lot of social media promoting of it, so we should have a good turnout to that as well. I am considering actually moving the concerts to Friday. I'm getting some feedback from the community to make that decision. So they may end up in 2015 moving to Friday. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you. Keep up the good job. You're doing a great job.
I would like to
Yes.
make a comment. My impression of the tree lighting and the parade might be a little different. I felt, to me, if the parade after parade felt a little flat, and I feel there was more synergetic effect when they were both, following each other. So personally, I'd like to consider putting them back together or have some discussion about it, because it seemed like to me there was a better flow last year when they were on the same day. That's just my personal, just throwing it out there.
Board Member Casella?
My 2 cents, I echo that same sentiment. After the parade, it was like hundreds of people just kind of milling around, walking up Ocean. I walked from the viewing stand back to my automobile, and there was just hundreds of people just kind of hanging around on Ocean, almost looking for something to do. So, maybe, between the city and the CRA, we can tie those 2 events in. I think the vendors would be much happier having that kind of a crowd walking down Ocean. I know the rain dampened the spirits a little bit the night before, but it's maybe just something we can consider. Thank you.
Yes.
Board Chair and Board, Mike Simon, Assistant Director with the CRA. I just wanted to make mention, it's not on the agenda and it's something that just happened before we got here tonight, but the construction company that is building the Harbor Master building received their CO by the end of the day today. So the building is received its certificate of occupancy and is completed 5 days before the boat parade, so we don't have to order portalets, and the lights will be on, and a functioning building. So I just thought you'd want to know that.
That's great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good news.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay. That takes us to the consent agenda. Nobody pulled anything on the consent agenda, so there's no questions there. We'll go ahead. We'll go to, on the information only, was any question on the public comment log? Any questions on the business development advertising campaign? Any questions on the 2015 CRA holiday schedule? Hearing none, we'll go to public comments. Anybody in the public wish to address the board on items not on the agenda may do so at this time. We ask to give you name and address for the record and try to make your comments in a 3-minute time period. Thank you.
Mike Campbell, Habitat for Humanity, South Palm Beach, 181 Southeast 5th Avenue, Delray. I just wanted to let you all know, especially Mr. Costello, that we have finished Ocean Breeze. The last family will be moving in the next 2 weeks, and we didn't use all of the money. And I didn't come back and ask for more.
That's fantastic.
We will be doing a formal dedication of the community on Tuesday, January 6th. That will be 3 years to the day that we broke ground on that community. Wells Fargo and Bank of America vice presidents will be there because between those two banks, they provided about $500,000 in funding for that community as well. So they will be honored there as well as all of you. So we invite you to join us there so we can finish that community and be ready to move on to bigger and better things. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you.
Right, excuse me, before you leave, what time on Tuesday, January 6th? Because
9
that's our-
a.m.
9 a.m., good. Because that's our commission meeting, okay.
January 6th, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, anybody else need to address the commission items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. We'll move to old business. Consideration of DIFA agreement for 500 Ocean Avenue between Morgan Boynton Beach LLC and the Boynton Beach Community Redevelopment Agency.
Mayor, Chair, I'm going to recommend that we table this. We were waiting for the 2 exhibits that deal with the green elements from the developer, and we were hoping to get them before today. And what I got today was not really what I wanted. So we're shooting for January, February. These are the crucial elements of what the public benefit of this, laying out what they're going to do within the building that will make it green to meet the silver level, and then how they will monitor it, the project, to ensure that it maintains that level over the 10-year period. So I don't have that to my comfort level. And then I have to have Andrew Mack, who is LEED certified, review that and make sure he's comfortable with it because he is LEED certified. So I don't have that, so I'm recommending that we table it. And I told Tom Hayden that that's what
Is there a motion to table?
Motion to table
second.
until the meeting in February.
I have
Second.
a motion and a second to table till February, first meeting in February. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, show the motion unanimous. Status of the Ocean Breeze East developer negotiations.
This has been ongoing. The proposal that you selected was a partnership between Hudson Holdings and Neighborhood Renaissance. And what they were proposing was a market rate multifamily development with retail on Seacrest and some medical office. one of the issues that the board had from the proposal was the amount of subsidy required from the CRA to make the project work. There was too much project gap required from the CRA, and the board directed them to try to figure out how to close that project gap with some source other than the CRA. So we met several times. One of the ideas was to add some more density. They were below the allowable density per the Heart of Boynton plan. And we were supposed to meet again based on a revised drawing. However, that did not occur. The next meeting that was requested of CRA staff was from Steve Michael of Hudson Holdings and a representative of Auburn, which was the other proposing entity in the RFP process, request for proposal process. And they were looking at doing half the project as a tax credit deal and the other half is market, which is an interesting concept. So after that meeting, I emailed Steve Michaels from Hudson, return red receipt, please, asking him to come to the board meeting and talk to you about the direction this is going, because it's a departure, a significant departure from what was proposed. And I got no response. So I called him. He did call me back, but we didn't touch base. I got an email from his secretary saying he's been in a conference for the last apparently 3 weeks or something. So I urged him to call me, and I did not get a call. In my opinion, you have a couple options. You can let it ride, do nothing. You can give a time certain that they're to come back with a development agreement, a draft development agreement to the board, because November, December was the timeline for that to happen. But they were not giving us anything to work with. The other thing is to stop the RFP and stop it and, start over.
It seems to me like, what we approved has gone away because half of the team dropped out. So now they formed a new team, and they're coming in with a whole different concept on. I think we need to start from scratch and see what's going on. They need to bring it to us, and so I don't know if you need to give them time to come to us with that or go out for an RFP, which would be the best. Yes.
I concur with you. The thing that I find somewhat questionable is the idea that I'll say Renaissance is A and Hudson is B and Auburn is C. I find that Hudson is mixing its metaphors, jumping ship after approval. I question the business ethics of what they did since they were accepted by us, voted for us to move forward. So I think, personally speaking, I think we have no choice but to go out for RFP again.
Ms. Fitzpatrick, then Commissioner Board Member Hay.
My concern is, to me, it seems like sometime in the past, this board or city commission has moved a little too fast on things. So I agree with the general sentiment, but my direction I'd prefer was that we give them a time certain for what we approved, like another month, and then if they don't step up to the plate, we send it out again.
I would agree with everything that's been said so far, except that I think we've given them enough time. There's not been any response in the past 2 weeks. I think a project of this size would you would be concerned about it. And so you would be contacting us back and forth, and I don't see that. I get the feeling that the original intent has changed in their minds, and they're not telling us the full story. So I would be in favor of just pulling the RFP.
McRae?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representing District 2, we do need to pull it because we said give them until November to December. They have not came through and showed anything in good faith. this project is a magnitude of great, effect for District 2, and I'm just saying, we need to let them know that we are not shenanigans around, we're not playing around. We gave them their time. I'm willing to go back out, renegotiate, go out for an RFP. Let them know we mean business.
Board Member Buchanan?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, basically, I agree with that. Time is of the essence, so if we go out for RFP, I know that delays things slightly, but if they want to come in with this project under a new RFP, with this new configuration, they'll be able to do so. So I'd like to see us just go with a new RFP, perhaps a short time limit on it, and see if we can get this moving.
Okay, it sounds like we have consensus to pull this one and go out with a new RFP. Is there a
Motion to approve and go out for a new RFP.
And I'll second the motion.
Most second, Board Member Costello, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this came in before us with great anticipation. We're pretty well excited about it. The whole dynamics of the project's changed now with new players, new ideas, really. More money being asked for, as I understand it. And I think the best thing that this board could do is wipe the slate clean here and go out with a new RFP and start anew.
Okay, we have a motion and a
Mr.
second as stated.
Chair?
Go ahead.
I would just like to ask the legal, from a legal standpoint, are there any ramifications behind us pulling this RFP?
No, until you have an executed contract, you always have the freedom to withdraw.
May I ask one
ahead.
question too, Mr. Attorney? Auburn, there's been several articles, several incidents with them being questionable. In the future, near future, when they come before us, I think this should be something that should be recognized. The amount of money they owe supposedly, the downfalls of what's happened in the past with their company, the idea that Hudson Holding all of a sudden wants to connect with Auburn. I question the sensibility, I'll use a nice word, of that business decision, let alone if we would make the same decision on dealing with them because of their record.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Show the motion passes 6-1. Takes us to new business, and we'll take item D as consideration of requests from the Greater Boynton Beach Chamber of Commerce for a special event grant funding in the amount of $10,000 for the Boynton Beach Red Hot Festival.
Yes, Mayor, this is one of the grants that we fund pretty much every year. It's a special event grant designed to allow nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations to conduct events in the downtown area to promote the downtown area. This event was done 2 years ago for one day. Now they're expanding it for 2 days. And it was a really great event. The first time they did it, it had a good turnout. They had a little weather, not real bad. It's a car show. It's hot peppers, hot bands. It's a great event. I was there. I think I served beer with the vice mayor and his wife. We had a great turnout for a first-time event, and I think it does promote the downtown, and that's the whole goal of this grant. So I think it's a very good use of the funds. And
Board
Buck, you
Member
can't vote.
How much, we budgeted $20,000 for this, right?
Yes.
Has anyone else asked for those funds?
No.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve it. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Show the motion unanimous. Thank you. Good luck. Hope the weather holds. Okay. Consideration of transferring CRA property 913 North Seacrest Boulevard to the city as part of a Sarah Sims Park Master Plan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. Discussion?
I have a question. The adding of this land to the parks, what will that do to our maintenance budget for the park? Do we have those numbers? I know in the past, there's been some commissioners concerned about adding park lands and what that cost would be as far as maintenance and upkeep.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the upkeep probably shouldn't be anything because they're already upkeeping Sarah Sims Park now. I'm just saying it's nothing new. It's just you're adding another little parcel on the inside of it. So I'm just saying, they're already out there.
I think it'll be minimal considering they already, like I say, already maintain that park, so it should be pretty minimal. But
It's a very tiny parcel.
Anybody hard here?
So, all right, so.
It's a
good
Speak
thing.
on the number?
And
No,
simply,
we
it's a
don't have
good
anybody
thing
here to
for
speak.
District 2.
Okay, I have a motion.
Not
and
only District 2, it's a good thing for the city.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
After discussion,
Go ahead.
I wasn't finished. I never
Oh,
got a
I'm
chance
sorry,
to
I'm
discuss
sorry.
it.
Go.
I'd like to point out this is a park improvement for District 2, which I'm all in favor, and I think there should be consideration for park areas in other parts of the city when they come up too. And I'm voting on it for assuming that'll occur.
Mayor,
Yes.
can you add to the motion that you have the right to sign any of the transfer documents so it doesn't have to come back here?
Who made the motion?
I did.
Is that
Add it to
okay
the
with
motion, yes.
Is okay, is the seconder okay with that?
Second, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, show the motion is unanimous. That takes us to B is report on Casa Costa Direct Incentive Funding Agreement compliance.
As most of you know, we have a direct incentive funding agreement in place with Casa Costa Condominium, which was formerly the Promenade. I believe we're in year 5, Susan? Year 5 of a 10-year agreement. The agreement has been amended several times. Right now, the only thing left in the agreement that they have to live up to is they have to make the attempt to lease commercial space, 1,930 square feet of commercial space at below market value. They have achieved that. They have leased to a CrossFit 3,300 square feet at well below what is market value. Now, I have not included the lease in there because they don't want the terms out to the public because this is part of what they do to meet their DIFA. We do have it in the office, in the DIFA file, so it shows that they met it. That's basically what they have to do to meet their DIFA terms. The rest of it, they have 2 build-out permits in the city, one for the CrossFit gym and one for a European deli, 2,500 square feet, and they are in negotiation for a Argentinian steakhouse where Margie's used to be. So that's pretty much the front. The CrossFit's in the back by Pete's Pond. So they're making great strides now that the economy is better and now that there's direct access from the parking garage. One of the other issues that we were having was the parking, which is in the DIFA for the commercial public use, is being used by the residents. And we do know the residents got a letter because we know some of the residents in there. And they have posted no parking for residents in that commercial parking area. And that's in your backup. You'll see the signs. And they have sent letters that they're sending one other letter, and then they're going to start to tow. So they are enforcing it, and it's going to be particularly important when those businesses open that residents are not parking there, so those businesses are successful.
Board Member Costello?
Yeah, I find it interesting, and I'm happy, really, is that with this DIFA, we had a 10-year DIFA with Costa at $485,000 a year. For the first 5 years, it seems like nothing was really done. A couple of businesses in and out, but for the most part, those storefronts are still empty until this new business you just mentioned. I find it interesting that it took that this commission, this board here is interested in what was happening there to get them maybe off their seat and get some kind of activity for those storefronts. But for the first 5 years at $485,000, I don't think the CRA really got their buck's worth. Also, we mentioned, and this is more of a city issue, the business tax receipts, that there's 90 units in there, and I'm proud to say that the city is now going after those 90 units and is now getting their due tax money from those 90 so-called hotel suites there. So it's all positive. It's just, I wish it just happened a lot quicker without having to make a lot of noise about it.
Well, just so anyone knows that that project was in foreclosure for some time, and unfortunately, and it wasn't until Related got it out of foreclosure that things started happening, and that was an unfortunate part of what was happening in the real estate world at
Yeah.
that time.
I agree. Before Related took over, two businesses went in there. Margie's went back in there, and a
Happy Birthday.
Chinese place. And the problem was there was no access from the garage out to those commercial places. So when Related took it over, I remember when they had the grand opening, and I spoke to the owner of Related there. He was there, and I said, the problem at your front there is you can't. Nobody wants to park in the garage and walk all the way around to get to these commercial stores. And he says, I'll correct that. And he has. Now they've made access, so you park, you can walk through the place and get to those front stores. So I think it'll work out a lot better.
Chair,
Yes.
I concur with you. But I went over there and I looked at the parking spaces, and on the west side, most of those are valet parking. So I'm wondering how many spaces for the public do we have there now? Because, as you were saying, the reason those businesses failed was parking, one of the reasons. And it looks like most of them have been taken up by valet parking spaces.
There are supposed to be 111 for the commercial uses.
Do you know
And,
how many are taken up by valet?
I don't know, Rick Fortenberry's from,
Area representative related group. There's currently the valet parking spots as you were talking about, which is in the west area of the parking garage, and then there's actually 120 plus parking spots that are to the public.
120?
I think it's 121. We're required to have 111. There's more than 111 there.
That's separate from the valet?
Correct.
Okay.
That's good.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, McRae.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask the executive director. She said that this was in foreclosure. When we was in foreclosure, was we still giving them DIFA money?
yes, because there was nothing that precluded giving them the money legally. They met the terms of the DIFA as the DIFA's written, and the DIFA's written, they must attempt to lease, and that's how it's written, so,
Well, I'm glad to hear, just for the record, so that the public would know.
yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Board Member Buchanan.
I shared Board Member Casello's concerns about the progress of that building before. And it was under different owners. As a matter of fact, there are 2 or 3 years I have suggested that even though the agreement is not a wonderful agreement, that there might be good faith that was not being executed that would allow us not to give them the DIFA. However, it appears that with the new owners and the new efforts, that there actually something is going to happen, and that we just can monitor this and see what happens. And but so far, it's a much brighter picture than it's ever been there before. Thank you for your efforts.
Great, back again.
Thank you. You're from Related Group?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying, since you're taking it back over, is there any problems that you foresee? I need honesty right now.
No. We've, even over the last year, we had signed 2 prior leases. Unfortunately, both of those restaurant operators were not able to get up and running, so we had to terminate both leases. We've got the CrossFit lease that's going in this coming year, 3,300 square feet. We've signed we're in the process of signing another lease for a European-style deli, and then we're also working on the Argentinian steakhouse. We've got some other prospects in the pipeline as well. So as the economy's gotten better in the area, a lot of the press releases that have happened with the CRA has also helped our activity. We've seen a big uptake in activity and in responses in the last 30 to 60 days.
Thank you. I represent that district. I just want to make sure you recorded that. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Rick, one other question for you. When I was over there the other day, I noticed all the doors to the commercial area were locked, and you had to have a little swipe thing to get in. Is that only because there are no businesses over there right now? And would that be changed when those businesses come?
Correct. For security purposes, we leave those locked, but during business hours, once the businesses are open, those are actually on the maglock system. So by computer system, they'll be unlocked.
Okay.
Board Member Casello.
Will these new companies, these new businesses taking residence there, will they be eligible for the CRA build-out grants?
Yes, they will. We've discussed it with 2 of them, the CrossFit and the deli.
Okay.
I think he really has been very aggressive in selling the units also. Since you've all took over, there's been a lot of activity there. I've noticed that.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion?
So,
Do we need a motion on this?
No, this is informational.
This is informational? Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate you being
thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Okay. Consideration of a letter of interest from Gardner Capital for CRA-owned property along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard corridor.
Thank you, Chair. We did actually give you an update to this. I received this, the first one, right before Thanksgiving, and then I received the updated one, I guess, last week. So we're having to keep up with the changes. This is for, this is a letter of interest from Gardner Capital looking to purchase, subject to receiving funding of tax credit allocation of the CRA properties that are in pink up there on the screen. And you have this in your packet as well that was handed out to you on the dais. It's about 3.2 acres altogether. The concept is that it would be for multifamily with some neighborhood commercial on the first floor on the north side of MLK to kind of bookend what's going to happen at Family Dollar. So essentially, when you drove east on MLK, you'd have a node of retail and then with apartments there. This would be done using Florida Housing Finance tax credits, 9% tax credits. This is a process where we would have to, if you're interested in doing this, they're offering $1 million for the CRA property. There is within your packet on the 4th page a list, an Excel spreadsheet of all of the properties, when we purchased them, and what they're worth on the property appraiser value, which is about generally 30% lower than market value. Now, some of these were purchased in conjunction with other properties that are not here. In fact, the last number 27, the 1.18, was a multiple property purchase, but that multiple property purchase is not reflected in this. The multiple property purchase was across west side of Seacrest, which we gave to the city. So when you see some of these numbers, they're not really reflective of some of the truth. And you can't separate it out because they were all done at one time. So I wanted to point that out so you didn't think we paid $1 million for one lot. So
I wouldn't have thought that.
I know you would. I know. That was for your benefit. And also, that there was also a full restaurant on that as well, which is no longer there. So the total is 2.179 that we paid, but again, some of those properties that we bought are not within there. They're actually in model block, the city's model block that they're working on right now. So just bear that in mind. If they were, understand when you're talking about this type of thing, this is a competitive process that they're going to go into with other developers who are going to probably have maybe easier sites, more cheaper sites. I don't know the answer, but
You're talking about the tax credits.
yes.
Okay.
It's competitive. So one deal will get done in Palm Beach County. One deal. So this is a long shot. Sorry, that's just the truth. And I believe in telling the truth about this. But there's no harm, no foul to the CRA. You could see if it got done, you would have Family Dollar, you'd have neighborhood commercial, and you'd have housing. You'd have about probably 6 blocks completed if it got funded. The process that would have to happen if you wish to do this, is we would have to, after this point, say we want to issue a notice of intent to dispose of real property, then come back and after 30 days, and then then we'd have to have a contract subject to the receipt of them receiving the tax credits and subject to our final design approval, just FYI, because that's always the way we do that. And so that's the risk. So the risk is fairly low to us. They are offering $1 million. The asterisk to that is, I don't want to leave any stone unturned, Florida Housing Finance, who is the issuer or allocator of these tax credits, will require an appraisal of the site. Hopefully the site appraises out and we would get our money. So.
Okay, that's some of my question. For him to get these tax credits, he doesn't have to own the land first, right?
No.
We don't. Okay, so
Nobody owns the land.
All right, so no one owns the land. Okay, and so for him also to get these tax credits, the property obviously has to appraise out, as you stated. Now, what's that number? Would you think that has to appraise out? If he's looking for $1 million, if he's going to pay $1 million for it, I mean, what kind of a tax? What is he looking for tax credits? Is he looking for $1 million worth of tax credits?
No, it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
Okay.
The way tax credits work, you go for a 9% allocation. It's based on how many units you're going to build there. It's based on construction cost
Okay.
in that county. It's based on
Okay.
a very
So
complicated.
it's a whole formula.
It's a whole formula. However, if you awarded them and you syndicate them, and I don't know what the tax credits are selling for today, but typically they will pay for the construction and the carry cost for the entire project.
How does this tie in with our model home block that we're doing?
I think it ties in fine because you need a variety of housing. In any community, you need housing for people who aren't going to buy homes, and you need housing for people who do want to buy homes. That is what a community is. It's a mix of housing.
Thank you.
Chair? Along those same lines, Viv, if he were to get, say, a 9% tax credit, wouldn't he be eligible for all of the money up front? And where would those monies come from?
No, the money does not come up front. You get an allocation of the tax credits, which you then take to a syndicator, i.e. Bank of America or something like that. Then you work out a deal with them, and it's a construction loan, and they pay, basically you get all the construction paid for.
What would be the impact, if any at all, with the Bell property?
Here's my thought on that. Let's see if I see any bells out here. That property, they are not proposing to include that property for the obvious reasons as we've discussed amongst ourselves. But I have said it would probably be a good partnership if they won the 9%, if that did happen, that the CRA, between Gardner and the CRA, that we would come up with something that would work in a partnership to buy that property. Because I think we can all agree that's been a thorn in the community sign.
Now, and I'll be finished. I know there's, we sometimes have to buy above the appraised value, but I don't want to get ridiculous, like paying too much. Do we have a ballpark number that we arrange, that we say yay or nay on, as far as, because, Bell is going to want an arm and a leg.
If they believe they're getting built around, they might change their mind.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Later on,
Okay.
it could be a fountain.
Merker?
Just saying.
Board Member Merker?
Point well made.
Professionally speaking, I think this is that exciting. The idea, in many cities, what happens first, developers want to plan outside in the higher economic area. Personally speaking, I feel that this gentleman who I've looked up a little. I don't remember his last name, but his first name is Alan, is truly professional at what he does. So my feelings and my belief is that if you start developing the slum and blighted areas, the rest of the areas in the city, I think it would be a catalyst in which other developers and landowners presently now see a positive flow. The idea that the land values will also go up because when the blighted and the slum areas are being developed, then the areas that are not defined as that will also go up. So obviously I'd like to learn more about this, but to me this is common sense that if a gentleman can come here and make the old new and fixed up, and any other terminology you want to use, this is a major coup for the city, and I hope to learn more about this plan.
Board Member McCray.
Because my arm then got tired. Gee.
Here.
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My whole take is that, this is a great plan. It's tied to tax credits, but we need to make sure that, it is spelled out to the public that this property, we're not selling it or giving it away for no $1 million. We're not giving it away for $1 million. If they don't get the tax credits, we're not getting rid of this property for $1 million. That,
They can't do anything with it if they don't get it.
I understand that, but I just want it to be
No,
known,
yeah.
we
Right.
have the newspapers.
Yeah. Yeah, Fitzpatrick?
I have a couple of questions. So what you're saying, if they should succeed and it starts to go forward, this is the kind of project we want?
Yes.
Okay. If it was built, how does are the rents subsidized? How does this all work? Who's going to move in? How do they pay?
Alan Schneier's here from Gardner Capital. Alan, can you come up and speak to that, please? Thank you. Yeah.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come forward and to present our opportunity to the Boynton Beach CRA. I have a deep affinity for this community because in another lifetime of mine, I was Housing and Community Development Director of Palm Beach County, and I'm quite familiar with the Seacrest side, and I'm very, very familiar with the heart of Boynton Beach, having spent a good portion of my early professional career within the community. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to come back and trying to do something positive in the neighborhood that I showed a great deal of affection for when I was younger. To answer your question, we are the targeted population or rental will be for families that are earning between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. It is a misconception when we call it the low-income housing tax credit program. It's really the middle-income tax credit program, and we're gearing ourselves rental-wise for firemen, policemen, city workers, people that are in that income category between $31,000 and $40,000 per annum. It's a phenomenal program. It's financed in this country over hundreds of thousands of units. It's strictly a true public-private partnership, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're not asking for anything. We want to buy the land. We want to create something very similar to what you see in the package that I was very much involved in Lake Worth, of a beautiful 55-unit development that I encourage everyone to go visit. It has all the features that you would want to see in an upscale type of development. So I'm very excited with this potential opportunity. I know we have a long way to go. Obviously, is to get the board's approval and to move forward with an agreement and then to submit the application. But if we're not in the game, we have no opportunity. So I'll answer questions.
Board Member Buchanan?
Yeah, I love the concept, and I think it'd be a great addition to the community as long as it maintains, as long as it continues to be a quality project. Now, how do you control, as a rental facility, you maintain control of that from then on, and with strict regulations about maintenance of the apartments and what people do there?
Yes, we have investors that are actually going out and they're buying these tax credits for investment for the portfolio. We have to have certain management standards. We have a whole laundry list of what we look for in tenants: criminal background, employment background, past history of renting, and we have investors that we have to satisfy. And if we are out of compliance with them, we have to come back and pay back that money. So there is historically, since the program has been in operation since the late 80s, I believe it has a less than a 1% default rate. It's one of the, I have to say, as someone who grew up in affordable housing my whole career, this is the best program that ever came out of Washington.
McCray?
Thank you. Ellen, I'm glad you stated that you was with Palm Beach County Housing Authority.
Housing and Community Development, I'm sorry.
Okay, not authority.
No,
So
sir.
I was going to ask you about Cherry Hill.
Oh, I'm familiar with Cherry Hill.
You're familiar with Cherry Hill?
From the old days, but no, I have nothing
From
to do
the-
with Cherry Hills with the Housing Authority.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, why did it take so long for somebody to get back to the table? Okay, I'm glad you got, okay.
Any marker?
Yeah, just one thing. The project's complete, hypothetically speaking, looks beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. There, I'll use the term, there is a maintenance program or an overseeing program to make sure so it's safe, secure, and no problems.
Yes, in the example as part of the package, we have a security system. Video cameras were built in, so there will be complete security. And as far as maintenance, this gets inspected every single year by the people that are going to be investing multi-millions of dollars. So we have to maintain this to perfect standards. Otherwise, the investor will get quite angry with us and send us some nasty letters and correspondences. Yes, sir.
Fitzpatrick?
I agree there has to be some affordable housing, but to me, the trend in Palm Beach County is the affordable housing is slowly funneling to a few communities, and a lot of communities are not, shall we say, doing their fair share. So my concern is 30 to 40,000 is not going to make the tax base, which is going to be what the city needs for future services. We need more like $50,000 to $80,000 here and there to offset this. My question is, once this is established, is this the future forever? Is it always going to be $30,000 to $40,000 range, or
no,
what?
sir. We are allowed to increase the rents, and as income levels go up, we're allowed to match. And someone who's living there now and stays there can earn up to $60,000, $65,000 over the life of however that they are living in there. But the first tenant that moves in must qualify under the tax credit guidelines. But if they stay there, again, their income go up, and we can't throw them out.
So initially, are there people there that are going to? Do they get subsidized credits or anything? Is it Section 8s or anything?
There'll be
like?
no subsidy. This is strictly private sector. We're not going out for any Section 8. We're doing this middle income. We're targeting, like I said, school teachers, firemen, secretaries, people that are working class people. That's what we're geared for.
Thank you. I have one question for Vivian. The question is, off and on, we've been talking about part of the problem in this area is there's no food market in walking distance, and on that the northeast corner of Martin Luther King Boulevard and Seacrest was often talked about as a place for a food market. And if this goes this way, where are we going to put a food market?
They've been told they have to do neighborhood commercial on the first floor on the corner.
And that's big enough for food market, which would supply we were talking about complementing dollar store and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yes, it won't be a Publix, but it will be something. It'll be something more than a typical, we'll do a...
More than what's in the neighborhood now.
Right.
The dollar
Thank
store
you.
is going to have groceries also. I
I'd
understand.
like to
Right, but I understand. Well, they were, you know, somebody else, I didn't bring it up. Somebody was saying that wasn't enough. We needed a real food market.
say something. I think one thing we all have to realize, we're a city. We're the third largest city in Palm Beach County. Cities are diversified. The key to running a city is to making sure that all parts, all sections, and all districts of a city are maintained and kept properly. In this situation, it sounds like, and obviously I have to learn more, as I said before, the idea that we can take this section of our city, improve it, beautify it, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It will, as I believe and stated before, I believe this will not only make this city, this part of this city, stronger, but it will develop the rest of the city. Cities are always meant to be diversified, having all segments of the population, from race, religion, to income. So a project like this, if it is what you're saying it could be, is a plus for the city, and it's a plus for all the people who live in the city. And then it's up to the city elected officials to make sure that this gentleman and whomever else maintain it properly. So it falls back on the responsibility of the elected officials to make sure that the different parts of the city are maintained properly. And I'm hoping...
Any more questions?
And I'm hoping that what you say is true and real.
Yes, sir, and I will be happy to take you to some of the properties that I've been involved with.
Thank you, Board Chair. You know, Commissioner, Board Member Merker just referred to, you know, the district as a section. We have a district. You know, I'm not going to say that I'm section off. No. We have a district. I represent a district, sir, not a section.
Pardon me for
You
the
are
improper
pardoned.
language. I
Yeah, you
apologize.
pardon, but I'm just saying, you said section. You know, I'm just saying, we
Well, I live in
represent
a section,
districts.
too. Okay.
And my whole take is that when we established the CRA, it was established for blighted areas, and District 2 is about one of the most blighted areas in our growing city, sir. Okay, so I'm just saying, you know, whatever comes in there, I'm just saying it would be a plus. I'm just saying, you know, so that we could put something back in. I know we would have to take care of it, but I'm just saying, once you build something, they will come. Once you educate, they will keep, and I'm one of those firm believers.
How about the terminology, the pulse of the city?
Okay.
How
let's
about
move on.
letting them run the meeting?
Any other questions? Do you need from us what to move forward here, Vivian?
That's going to be later
And
on.
then this item G that you added?
Yes, that's
Why
gonna
don't we
be
go,
item G.
seeing that has to do with
Okay.
this, why don't we take it up right now? You
Okay.
need a letter of
Mr.
intent,
Chairman.
a motion for a letter of intent. Go ahead,
If you
Attorney.
do go forward with this, and ultimately we need to enter into contracts in the interest of full disclosure, in a prior life, I was a Palm Beach County Commissioner, and Mr. Schneer, in a sense, worked for me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I have to say this, Mr. Spilius was one of the best county commissioners that Palm Beach County ever had.
I taught him well, didn't I?
And he did not pay me to say this, but I have the fondest
Yeah.
memories of going before him when I was a little bit younger.
Yeah,
Okay.
flattering.
Let's get back to business. Vivian, item G
Yes.
was, you need a motion
Item-
for a
Actually, it's
letter of
item
intent?
H. We need to consider issuing a notice of intent to dispose of real property, CRA properties on MLK, as reflected in this, because I can't list them all, there's no.
I understand, but in
So-
all this, and when we do this, it'll all be based on them winning the tax credits in Tallahassee.
Yes, and
Right, so
what we'll do
otherwise
is
it all
we'll
goes
do a
away.
purchase agreement based on them being awarded tax credits and based on your approval of the design.
What you just said, I put it in the form of a motion. It's a motion.
Okay, is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So the motion is unanimous.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to
Best of luck.
working with you.
Okay.
Hope you win. Okay, that take us to E, discussion of Marina Village parking garage management. We're gonna,
Mayor,
I think we
can I
have
ask-
the man from Marina Village here.
Marina Village Rick, can you come up
We have,
please to the podium?
Well, let's listen to him, then we'll listen to staff, and then we'll open it up to everybody else.
work for council, did you?
No.
Rick, you have to give your name and address.
Rick Dunstan, 321 Southeast 15th Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33060.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Took over property about 2 years ago. Looked at the parking garage. Looked at 2 case studies, which I'll leave copies here for you. I can send out electronically from the Urban Institute regarding crime prevention in parking garage. And this is kind of how I developed this plan over the last 2 years. So looked at a couple options. Plan A was toss money, toss staff at it. At a 3-year term, you're looking at $216,000 year 3 if we implement this program. That cost would be in turn passed on to all the associations involved, in turn increasing everybody's rent at the Marina District, because the Marina is also part of the Master Association through the budget process. Okay. Personally, I also have a side business. I have a charter boat down in Pompano Beach, Florida. Very similar circumstances. I scratched out a check every single month for $1,100 for a use of a parking garage. Very similar circumstances. They changed it due to their security concerns. So took that off the table. As I don't like doing that, don't want to pass that on. So how can I do this for free? On February 20th, we met with the chief of police here, discussed our issues we're having in the parking garage. He said he couldn't do anything on a permanent basis. He did patrol temporarily for me, did solve some of the immediate concerns. That has since stopped. He just doesn't have the staff to continue with that consistently. Also, presented itself was that it is a private entity. I can enter into a traffic agreement with the city of Boynton Beach, but currently the interpretation on that traffic agreement, we have to post signs for 25 miles an hour, all right, which doesn't do anybody good in that Marina District. Okay. Was able to get parking enforcement to patrol the parking garage. They did issue several tickets out during that process, okay? Since it is a private entity owned by the master associations, those tickets were void. They could not issue any tickets out because it is a private entity. So you come up to options 3, some sort of hybrid. How do we put this all together, make it all work for kind of everybody involved at the least cost possible? The case study shows that just adding security cameras don't solve the issue. It's got to be a combination of both security and personnel. All right. Master Association has agreed to spend almost $80,000 on a new security system, which will be installed on December the 15th. All right. So that process is coming. So then, working with Mike Simon, we kind of put together how can we do this without burdening all the associations in the Marina District involved. So we kind of came up with this hybrid program and worked with, what's the name of the valet company, Mike? Dockside Valet, to manage the parking garage. All right. It's not a valet service, so there's no tipping involved. It's somebody to control my parking management, to control the traffic flow from the hours of about 7 to 11 at night. After that, my security team and my new surveillance cameras kick in. I start towing at 1 o'clock. Parking garage cleared out. 90% of my problems happen between the hours of 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. at night. All right. I do have documentations and photographs of all the shenanigans going on in the parking garage. I will not display them out in a public forum. If any of the commissioners would like to see them, I'd be more than happy to forward them off to you. So we came up with a solution. It's a $5 all day, park 8 hours, 4 hours solution with that valet company. The association's a nonprofit. I can't profit from this, so I've got to figure out a way to make it pay for itself. This gentleman with the valet company seems to think he can make this pay for itself. He can make an income out of it. I don't burden any of the associations, and I don't burden directly the marina, the slip owners, because I would simply pass the cost off to the CRA, who would in turn increase rents. And again, I've lived through that personally. I scratch out a check, $1,100 every single month for use of a parking garage for my charter boat in Pompano Beach. That's kind of the 30,000-foot look. I'll take any questions.
How'd you come up with the $5 number?
We wanted to make it's a simple fee, and we actually relied on the valet company. What do you think he could get away with for working? It's, I didn't see any sense in charging $25 an hour. It just doesn't work. So actually the fee was pretty much discussed with actually the valet service, where he think he could actually make some money out of it.
What he could get away with, $5.
like that.
Let's say he doesn't make money at $5. Then when he comes back and says, I need $7, how does that work?
We'll have to review that with the Master Association.
And what if it doesn't stop at $7 and he says, I need $10?
It's, again, we're going to have to go back to the Master Association and find out where we are.
Okay, and I have a question for the attorney here is, with this, we have assigned spaces. We don't own anything in that garage. We have assigned spaces.
Correct.
When those spaces are assigned, is this a difference in that language, that when those were assigned to us, now they're going to start charging us for our spaces? Is that a legal thing, or is that something they can just do at a whim?
My understanding is they're not going to charge you for the spaces.
Well, they're going to charge people to use our spaces.
Public.
Public spaces.
Right. They're going to charge us for our 122 spots, $5. Anybody who wants to use them.
How many there are?
Correct.
120?
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
The condo docks, the way they are currently
Have you ever
written,
thought of maybe validating? I know some of the issues was that the public has been using, the employees have been using them, people who shouldn't be there are using them for whatever reason. Have you ever thought of maybe a valet, not a valet, but a stamp ticket, people going to use the facilities down there, the boat
That would be
captains, the restaurants, they come in, they get their ticket, they bring it to the establishment they're going to, they get stamped, and they give it to the valet, to your security guy at the thing, and now you know they were using it for legitimate purposes. Has that ever been thought of?
that would be an option A, which costs the associations $216,000, which I would pass on to the CRA. I'd have to cover that labor cost at some point.
The CRA presently, pays you, almost $25,000 now a year?
Correct.
About $24,000 a year?
Correct.
Okay. So my concern is that we're getting on a slippery slope here, and I know basically this board has no say in it. But we're getting on a slippery slope when we start off with a number, and you use the terminology, what he can get away with, $5.
It's bad terminology. It's just, his business model is based off the $5.
Poor choice of words. And what I'm concerned about is that that's not going to be enough. And what is enough? And we don't know. Did he give you a figure on what it's going to cost him to run that a year, to do what you're asking?
I have not seen his budget as of yet.
So how can we come up with a figure of $5 when we haven't seen the budget?
It's once the finalized contract is in place, we could add verbiage in there with a percentage increase per year.
And it also could mean more money for people using our marina.
Correct.
All right, which really concerns me. I mean, the spaces down there are tight now, as we all know, Mr. Chairman. And we start charging the public. Somebody brings their family down there, either to use the restaurants or use the captain's boats down there for fishing. And we're going to start charging, I'm just afraid it doesn't stop at $5. I've never seen a tax or a fee or an assessment that once it's established ever goes away or ever goes down. And that's my concern down there. That's one of our biggest assets in this whole city, along with the beach, is the marina.
I'm also trying
and we
to protect.
could price ourselves right out of business, and people are funny. People are funny when you start charging them for parking. Anywhere you go, it's always about the free parking. I have some real concerns. We have 122 spaces that were assigned to us through whatever deals we made with your association over the years. I think those should still be available to us at no charge. That's my personal opinion.
I do have, to speak to that, I do have serious concerns about the perception that Marina District's going to continue to have. As I said, I will not share photographs of what's going on in that parking garage.
I think it's more of of having better security than valet parking. That's what I think. I don't think valet parking makes that problem go away.
It's a combination. It's more than, it's a management of the parking. If you look and read these case studies, I've got to put security cameras and personnel in there. It is 3 individuals that are physically in that garage monitoring the traffic in the garage.
And they can't control what's going on?
Currently, I do not have that in place. And that's where I was just like going, if you look at that option A, is how do we make that in place and add that additional security you're talking about. You're looking at a $216,000 impact on a yearly basis with a 3.5% increase year over year. All right, the association will pass that cost on to the CRA. It will eventually get passed on to the marina slip owners through their rent. So how do I control cost? Again, I understand it's just like a fee. Is it going to go up to $20? Is it going to go up? I understand that. It's a contract can be written with a percentage increase no more than, or to be reviewed by.
The word increase concerns me.
Yes. First of all, Mr. Attorney, I may need your help. This is private property, right?
Yes.
Okay, step one. Step two, the term security was used and valet parking. To me, they commingle. By having valet parking, you're creating more security. Why? Because it's controlled, the parking, who goes in and out. Three, am I wrong to use the terminology that because we do not own it, that we have to get permission, or they're able to have valet parking charging without the consent of the city, or do they have to have the consent of the city if it's privately owned and they're securing up their base?
I understand that the CRA has representation on the association. So the CRA's representation can put forth the CRA's position on any proposal such
But
as
legally,
this.
can you stop them from charging?
No.
It's sort of black and white, isn't it?
I'm saving my comments till I hear from everybody, so I think maybe before the board gets into it, do you want to wait till you hear from staff and other people?
Yeah.
Or do you want to ask a question?
Well, I just wanted to clarify a couple
Go ahead.
information from it. Well, a comment is, has there ever been an agreement between private and the CRA where there's been a happy parking agreement? I'm getting the impression we should never enter any agreements on trying to go the cheap way and get somebody else to build parking spaces. If the city wants parking spaces, we got to build our own parking garages, the way it seems to me.
We didn't enter into an agreement here. That's not what happened here. What happened here was there was a tri-party agreement as a result of a lawsuit between the city, the related group, and Two Georges. And when we bought the marina, the city was out and we were in. So we didn't enter into it. And there was no parking, there was no agreement to get extra parking. There was never any direct incentive funding agreement or DIFA agreement here at all, ever. Just so everybody knows that. The CRA never put one dime into this project. So when we bought the waterfront parcel, which was supposed to be a 7,000 square foot restaurant, and the tri-party agreement stopped that and made it limited to a 1,500 square foot building, we purchased that with the intent of making it a marina use for the betterment of the entire marina. And with that parcel came those assigned spaces in the garage. It was never intended to be a public parking deal. So just so everybody understands, there's been a lot of misinformation out there. Those spaces that we got assigned in the garage are a result of that waterfront parcel.
So there was like so much square footage of the overall project, and each square foot got so many square feet of parking area. And since we bought
Right.
X number of square feet, we get so many parking spaces, and we've been trying to turn
And
them
let
over
me
to
point
the-
out that we now own slips, 17 commercial slips that each have their own business tax receipt. They are businesses with zero parking. They have no parking. Our tenants have no parking. And what happens in that garage on our spaces is Marina Village residents park in our spaces. Banana Boat employees park in our spaces. Two George's employees park in our spaces. So guess who has no spaces? Our tenants have no spaces. And my goal is we're sending out all kinds of marketing material to all the hotels up and down the coast to promote this marina. So when the customer comes and they don't know where to park except where it says public parking, guess what they find? Filled up with employees of restaurants. And I don't think that's what our intent is. That's not the intent we had when we bought that waterfront parcel. Our intent was to provide parking for the customers of those our tenants, so you can have successful businesses. That's the
You still
intent.
got the floor, Fitzpatrick.
Okay, and my other question is, there's been some talk about valet parking, and I'm confused, because I thought the way it was described to me is that it'd be more likely to correct to call them like gatekeepers. They're not actually going to park anything, they're just keeping people in and out, or are they actually going to park anybody?
There will be no parking, it will be a self-parking. They're basically a gatekeeper to control the traffic, to control the employees coming in. My residents will no longer be allowed to park down there. That's an easy control for me. I can send them upstairs, find them, and then tow them eventually. That's an easy control for me. So it's not a valet service. It's truly just to manage the traffic flow in the parking garage, to stop the loitering at night. And it's not a valet service. So you're not exchanging hands. You're not giving anybody a key. You're not tipping somebody at the end.
I'm done.
Okay, and then we'll come back to you.
So what I'm hearing is that a lot of those parking spots are being used by people who should not be using them.
Correct.
The purpose is for our customers that have use of the slips down there.
Correct.
So when you look at the employment at Two Georges plus the employees at Banana Boat amounts to some maybe 50 people roughly. And if those people are taking up the spaces, and I've also heard you, Viv, say about what's going on in the garage. Now that to me sounds like partying, drinking, drugs, sex, and anything else you can name is going on in there, in that garage. And you're trying to prevent that, plus free up the spaces that really should belong to our customers. So are you using the $5 as a deterrent against people? That's all-day parking, right?
It's all-day parking, correct.
So you're using that as a deterrent to weed out the people who are not supposed to be there?
No. The intent behind the $5 charge is to cover the cost to put 3 individuals in there to manage that those parking spots. Correct. It's an overseer.
Go ahead. Yeah, for right now, go ahead.
The valet or the people, are they dockside valet?
Correct.
Is that the same one that does the Two Georges parking?
Correct.
So, okay. Now, our director says that our spaces are filled up with people going to the restaurants and taking up our spaces and employees. Is that what you said?
Employees.
Employees. So the employees are taking up 122 spots.
Out of 50 employees, that takes up a lot.
Okay, but those spots are also used by the customers of Two Georges and Banana
Yeah,
Boats, correct?
that's who it should be used
So,
for.
okay. And you're telling me that's not so much a problem with you. Your problem is with the drug, sex, and rock and roll that's going on in the garage.
It's a combination it's a combination of all.
Okay.
It's
Because
just like talking with Mike and Vivian over the year and a half I've been there. It's just like going, the parking's never been addressed.
Okay.
It's truly not fair for the CRA and the slip owners that, on those Friday afternoons, I've got people traveling around trying to find a parking space. I got residents that once everybody gets up to the top before the security gate, there's no more parking there. My residents can't get up through the gate to get to their parking spot, so I've got to put some sort of management piece in there to control the flow. So yes, it's about controlling the flow. Yes, it's about all the crime and all that. It's an approach, again, with security cameras. It's the approach that I can come up with that financially doesn't impact the businesses. All right, the consumer, yes, it's going to impact them by $5.
Okay. Educate me. Do you have the top floor of that garage blocked off? Don't you have like 100 spaces not being used up there at all?
Correct.
Why is that?
I cannot use them currently. They're owned by a related group.
Owned by who?
Related Group.
The Related Group. Okay. Okay, so you can't use them.
Correct.
Okay. Just the next question, we have two members that sit on the master board of that would be you and Mike Simon. Are you in favor of this $5 charge?
Yes, we've gone round and round with this to try to figure out how to do it, and without, as Rick said, impacting. You're going to have to pass on the cost one way or another. It's better to pass it on to the customer who is coming to, go deep sea fishing or something. We could pass it on to the slip tenants. That's one way of doing it. We didn't think that would be appropriate. It's about $54,000 a year.
I'm hearing a lot of numbers, and no one's really come up with a formula where they're coming up with these numbers.
The cost of having 3 people in the garage during season, Thursday.
Comes out to $5 per space.
I don't know about that. We just.
My payroll costs are much higher.
You want to listen to everybody, or do you want to keep asking questions?
I have one question, and it might be from the owners that's here. I'm just trying to figure out, they don't have parking, for the employees. Is there off-site parking,
I've actually talked to Steve Skaggs today. He has an off-site parking lot just south of Ocean Avenue that he has 64 spaces, which is more than he needs for his employees, which will actually work for some of the employees of our tenants, and actually will work for some of the employees of Banana Boat. He's willing to work with the CRA to do something there so that we can, and you don't have to cross Ocean, you just go under the bridge and go that way, so you don't have to cross the street. So that would be an option. We will give each one of our captains a pass. They can put any car they want to for free parking. CMIST will get free parking as well, even though they're not our tenant, within the garage. But then for your other employees, we're going to have you off-site park, but it's not far, and it's walkable to the marina. So we have thought about this from our perspective, it's about our businesses that don't have any parking. And there's very limited parking. So we're trying to accommodate you and your customers. That's the CRA's point of view, just so you know. And we can take on and eat the whole cost of doing this and having those 3 people manage the garage, and it would be an ongoing cost year over year.
How much?
Or we could do the $5. I think for the average person visiting there in an area like that, I know it's a new change. We haven't had any paid parking in Boynton ever, and I know it's a departure from what we've done. But this is a very, very congested area, and when you get into a congested area, paying for parking is the norm. I don't know anywhere you go that it's this congested, and they're only talking about season and the weekends, not every day, not all the time. So it's just to manage and help that garage and help your customers have parking during your high season.
Okay.
Before, I'm still on that. Was this related to the owners of the businesses down there about the street parking for the employees? Were they made aware of this before this came to us?
Basically, we were going to have a meeting with them next week, Mike, a captain's meeting. And I just talked to Steve Skaggs today. So I was trying to get with Gene Moore, but he was not working with me because that was a little closer, but on First Financial. But Steve has room on his site.
Okay, we've heard from the owner of the marina thing, and we've heard from staff. Who else would like to talk to the board about this issue? Please come forward. Please come over here and get in line, and we'll listen to each one of you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Dan Volker from Lake Worth. I'm a diver. I've been involved in dive resort tourism for 20 years. First thing I'd like to say about this is if the problem is a safety-related one, getting a valet service isn't the solution. Security guards. I already checked with local security services. There's one called Command One that would charge $12.69 per hour. According to everything I've read so far, this is an issue that happens at night. Valets or these 3 parking attendants aren't going to have the job of going around looking for criminals. That's what a security guard would be doing. An unarmed security guard can call 911 whenever they see a crime taking place. We have video surveillance that already lets us know what times these crimes are taking place. So we need to deal with the crimes if, in fact, safety is the issue. If safety is not the issue and there's some desire by the Marina Association to destroy the best tourism potential that Boynton Beach has, a parking fee like this would be a great way to destroy our best tourism resource in Boynton Beach. None of the clientele from the dive boats or the restaurants or the fishing boats are going to be happy with the $5 parking fee. It's the opposite of good marketing. It's just not smart. And again, I have a real problem with the assertion that it's hundreds of thousands of dollars for the security. Just one security guard driving around for a couple hours a night when you already know the crime is taking place, that sounds like what we ought to be investing some time in looking at. You know, go through their video records, see when these crimes take place, and then try to fix them with people who are trained to do that, not with valets. Thank you.
Before you go, my whole take is, who do you feel that should be paying for the security?
Well, the smart way to me is, let's say you went with this Command One at the $12 or $12 an hour kind of a price, split that between all the tenants of the tower, the residents, and the marina merchants, and you're talking about a very small cost per month for everybody. And in fact, there's a serious liability if you have a big condominium tower like this with all these residents, and you know, all of us know that there's some kind of crime taking place, and we don't do anything to deal with that with real security professionals. I think that's a kind of a liability. You know, hiring a valet service when you have crime taking place is just the wrong solution. But again, a $12 an hour kind of price, only a couple days a week for a few hours in the evening, that's not that expensive. It certainly isn't hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That's just not good investigation by the association. That's call Command One. They'll give you the price. In fact, I got a quote in my phone from them.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next.
Lynn Simmons. I'm sort of in a unique position. I own 2 businesses, one in the Boynton Beach Harbor Marina, Splashdown Divers, and in Marina Village Condominium, which is Marina Bites Convenience Store. So actually a sandwich shop. We provide very affordable snacks to the people who need something a little bit more easy to tolerate while they're working there and coming to the marina. I spoke with one of my customers at Marina Bites today about the parking issue. He's an older gentleman. He comes in every day to buy a $5 sandwich, which he shares with his wife, and he brings his car in. So he's now going to, actually he's not going to pay because he will not come to pay $10 for his sandwich to share with his wife. I've spoken with lots of the employees of Marina Village, and they've all told me about the video surveillance, which basically covers every square inch of that parking garage. There is no indication anywhere that it's under video surveillance. I truly believe if they were to put notification to the public that is abusing the privilege of using it, that they're under video surveillance, lots of this stuff will not occur. And if it is under video surveillance, they have security guards. They should be monitoring it, and when they see a crime happening, they should be calling 911. Whether it's on private property or not, Boynton police will respond. They're awesome. In 31 years, I've had to call them multiple times, and when Boynton responds, they respond, and they get things done. I have video surveillance in Marina Bites, and they caught a thief because it was under video surveillance. In fact, I just spoke with the DA today about it. They caught them, they prosecuted them. Your system works. and it shouldn't cost them any more than what they're already paying for their current surveillance and security. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're trying to say that we need to have a sign on the entrance of the park saying on the videos?
I would say wherever the cameras are, tell those people they're being watched. It's amazing what they won't do if they know somebody's watching.
Thank you.
Kevin Metz, 1425 North J Street, Lake Worth. Owner of Underwater Explorers, diveBoyntonBeach.com. It's been a pleasure to have worked with 4 nationally published scuba diving magazines covering the Goliath grouper aggregation that we're fortunate to have out on the Castor. Been a pleasure to have an award-winning film shot from my boat on the Castor. Been a pleasure to work with you to try to draw attention to the fantastic resource that we have. I don't really understand what's going on here. That this solution doesn't really seem to match the problem right out of the gate. I look forward to working with you to trying to shed some light on who is doing it or the motivations for doing it. But I would just like to point out that if there's a problem at night after 6 p.m., we don't use those spots. There's no spots for us after 6 p.m. anyway. You already pay $24,000 a year to that building for the parking spots that were part of the, you pay $24,000 a year to that association. I would assume that it's partly to cover the parking. The buildings stand where parking used to be for our businesses. And with my understanding that prior to the buildings even being built, that the parking stipulations that we arrived at, I'm not sure what the legal status is of trying to charge the city for the 120 for use of their allocated parking spots, or charge people if it, I wouldn't mind going down to one of the parks, or maybe I can ask permission to charge people to park in in the baseball fields. That's what it seems like to me. That's what it seems like is happening. Anyway, diveBoyntonBeach.com is my website, and today I reserved another one, Dive Lantana. So I'm interested to see how this goes. Hopefully I don't have to move. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll just address the point about the parking before. It was vacant lot, although it was privately owned property, but there was no building there, so you all just parked on it, which is fine because it was open land. Everybody just parked there, but now it was bought, now it was owned then by somebody, but there was no building or anything, and so everybody just parked wherever they could there. Yeah, it worked that way because there was but you were parking on private land, actually. Go ahead.
Craig Smart, 6910 Lantana. I own the dive boat Starfish Enterprise. I guess my initial thought is if you guys are going to pay $250,000 for a security guard, where's the application? I'm all over it. Put 3 guards in there, they could hold hands and see the whole place. My understanding, there's already a security guard I see running around in there. What he does when he's not running around, I don't know, and what that has to do with divers diving or fishermen during the day and crime activity at night when nobody's supposed to be in there anyway. My suggestion is get rid of the people, not the cars. The cars, my recollection, have never been able to have sex and do drugs in a parking lot. The other point I've got is, has anybody bothered to do any research as to what a dive instructor makes on a 4-hour trip? Has anybody bothered to do any research of what dive boat, fishing boat employees make during a trip? You're talking about taking anywhere from 10 to 20% of what they make a day so that they can park their car. This is a place of employment. This is a commercial business. I need a boat slip to run my business, just like John Doe needs a retail storefront to run his. Jane Doe needs a warehouse to fabricate what she makes. Whoever needs a field to do theirs. It's no different. I just need a slip, and I expect there to be parking when I sign a lease, just so I can bring my customers in. That's all I want. I double Kevin's thought, because most of my wholesale business will go. The instructors will not bring their students there. There's too many other options within the county, not to mention South counties. And there's too little of a margin there. It just doesn't exist. And again, to put it in Kevin's words, I hope I don't have to go find somewhere else to go.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the CRA Commissioners. My name is Peter Armour, 700 East Boynton Beach Boulevard, Marina Village. I'm also Vice President of the Condo Association at Marina Village. Just for clarification, the woman who spoke a couple of minutes ago said that the garage had a lot of security cameras. It doesn't. We have one security camera by the gate where the residents enter, and we have a security camera by the garage door on the 700 side of Marina Village and on the 625 of Marina Village, just by the doors. So the garage is not loaded with security cameras. But I think we're missing the point this evening. It's, yes, security is a concern, but it's not the major concern for Marina Village. It's the safety and the well-being of the Marina Village residents, and that involves parking maintenance. We have had numerous accidents in the garage. There's a woman sitting in the back right now who's been hit twice in the garage. We have also had people walking in the garage that have almost been run over. It's about safety in the garage. Give you an example that happened 3-4 weeks ago. There are 2 handicap parking spots in the garage, and there's a space. The handicap spots are oversized to begin with, and there's a space between the 2 handicap spots. In the afternoon, and our problems are mostly in the afternoon, on the weekends, anytime from 3 o'clock on, when the garage is full. So on this particular weekend afternoon, the garage was full. A oversized truck drove into the garage, tried to park between the 2 handicapped spots, hit one of the cars, got out of his car. One of our front desk people happened to be walking through the garage. He handed the front desk person his registration, his insurance card, and his driver's license and said, "You deal with it. I'm going to go get drunk." Again, trying to squeeze into a spot that doesn't exist. That's our problem in the garage. It gets full. People go into it. There is no sufficient turnaround to come back. There is no one patrolling the garage to allow, to advise people that there aren't any spots in the garage, and that's what's causing these accidents, and that's what's causing, hopefully won't cause, a serious incident that will occur in the garage. You know, I'm a bit surprised that several cities, such as Delray Beach, their garage on Northeast 1st Street on the weekends from Thursday through Sunday charges $5. That garage is always filled on the weekend. You always have to wait in line to get into the garage and pay your $5. Meisner Park, okay, they don't charge for the 2 major garages that they have in Meisner Park. They charge for parking on the street, but those Meisner Park garages aren't attached to a residential building. The garage at Marina Village is attached to Marina Village. Our residents go in and out of the garage. Our residents have to go through a gate to get to our assigned parking spot. It is a continual adventure, especially in the weekends, especially during the season, to be able to get to our parking spots without avoiding any serious accident. And another thing, too, that our proposal will do is we have too many instances where oversized trucks and SUVs park in the signs that designate compact cars only. And when they park in those spots, you can't see what's coming around the curve. Again, accidents have occurred and more accidents waiting to happen. So I mean, I sympathize. I hear all the concerns regarding losing business, and we really can't afford it. But the residents of Marina Village can't afford being hurt, can't afford a serious incident to occur. And that's why, at least for a test period, at least for this upcoming season, let us try this procedure with having the valet service organize and patrol our garage. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Captain Bert Garnsey, Seamus 3 Drift Fishing, 700 Castelloma Boulevard. I feel a little out of the loop. I didn't even realize there was a problem down there. I pull into the garage every day. I've never seen an accident. I've heard maybe a rumor of some theft and stuff, but now all of a sudden it seems like the crime wave of the century in the garage. I was kind of looking at it like if things are working, you know, why throw a wrench in the gears if the system's working? Now there's all these problems with the system. I don't know if these problems are being made up or there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I mean, every parking lot and garage is going to have a problem. I don't care where you are. But I kind of felt a little kind of blindsided by it. Now we have all these problems and we got to find a giant solution to fix it. It's kind of where I was at with it. And now, like I said, I'd like to see the photos or the pictures of what's going on in there that is so dramatically offsetting. And then there's a lot of smoke and mirrors for the parking, and you know, it's not public parking; it's public parking. I just feel a little set off, and I know it would be bad for my business. Personally, I think it would be worse for my business than probably most. Thank you.
Thank you.
As a team, since we've only been together for 53 years.
Okay.
We're the Geno 4, and we've been at your marina since 1961.
Can we have your names, please? Thank you.
Captain Karen Stroshine Pratt.
Good evening, Captain.
128 Neptune Drive, Hypoluxo.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, this is us. And in 1961, we started there. And then back in the, I don't know what, 68, we moved over here. And then back in 72, Mom and Dad moved over here. But now we're here. So we haven't gone very far. You're the longest tenants you've ever had. We're not happy. We're just not happy at all.
It's going to hurt our customers real bad.
Yeah. It's going to kill our business, and we don't want to leave, and we're really seriously considering it. We're looking at all our options. We don't like the pay, you know. We love Bert. You know what? Everybody at our marina, we get along like this. Everybody. You can go to Fort Lauderdale, Boca, you can go to Miami. You know what? We all get along. The people at our marina, we'll take turns. Hey, you need that spot? Okay, great. Okay, you need to pull in and do this? Hey, we're great. Those 14 spaces that you took away behind our boats, you know, we were working it out. I know there was complaints I know that there was offloading issues, but if you just give those 14 spots, that's 14 spots you don't have to worry about in the parking garage, back to the captains, just give it to the tenants. Hey guys, I pay just under $1,000 per month, and I just added up, I paid $18,900 in fuel last year to the CRA. We spend more money there than anybody. We got to do something here. We get along as a community, and I don't want to see Bert's people. You know, I know all his old timers. His old timers fish with us.
A lot of guys on fixed incomes.
And the other thing before I forget, and I'll forget
Another
this.
$5, they ain't coming.
But this is really important because the Two Georges put a tow-away zone for the handicapped people. We got people 50-some years. The second generation, 30 years on the boat, what? Yeah. At any rate, I got an 86-year-old guy. He goes, Karen, where am I going to park? I go, well, you got to park in the parking garage. He goes, I can't. I'm on a walker, and I come by myself. Well, at any rate, I paced it off. Here's our boat. I paced it off. It's 187, not feet, yards.
2
to
football
the
fields
parking
almost.
garage to the nearest handicap.
Yeah.
That's 187 yards. My crippled guy's got to walk with his walker to our boat. Now, what's up with that? That's pretty. I didn't know if you all knew about that. Yeah, that's
it? Thank you.
That's not good.
Okay.
But Two Georges say, no, Karen, your guys can't park there. Two Georges only. I said, but my guy, you know what? He comes at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's out by 11. What does that hurt? But even so, if I had a person that came, the afternoon trip, like my old man, 86, he fishes with us. Where's he going to park? He comes by himself,
Question for you. How much does it cost to go on a trip on your boat?
We charge $650 for a half-day trip for a 51-foot ultra-luxurious yacht. It takes 2 people, sometimes 3 people, to run our boat.
Thank you.
Talking about $5.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, not that tall. Hi, guys. My name is Kim Kelly. I'm the owner of Hurricane Alley, right down here on 529 East Ocean Avenue. I said tonight, no, I'm not going to speak on this. It's not my problem. I'm on the other side. Well, guess what? It is my problem. This is why it's my problem. First of all, I've heard so many things tonight. The employees, this, that, okay? First of all, I'm sure if you work with the restaurants, we'll find out, or you work with all these other owners, you'll find a place to put your employees. It's not so much about the employees. It's about our customers, okay? First of all, you say, it's the old saying, build it, and they will come. Well, you guys built it, and you kind of promised us a lot of, like, in my eyes, broken promises. Or you led us to believe that we were going to get these things, free parking, this, that. Okay, now you're saying we built it, they came, now you're telling them to go away. Okay, you have all these other cities. Sure, you got West Palm, you got Delray. Yeah, they pay for parking. Well, guess what? It took them years and years and years, and they have viable downtowns. I don't know if you looked around. We don't have a viable downtown. You just had a, look at your own success rate, okay? I'm not trying to put bad on anybody, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're trying to build a downtown, and you're taking it away from us. Okay, our downtown starts with a marina. You start making these people pay for these parking spots, they're not going to come here. They're going to go to Southern Comfort. They're going to go over here on Federal Highway. They're going to go out west to these restaurants. They're not going to come and see us. Okay, we're trying to fight by the string of our lives, and what you're doing is you're taking it away from us. Okay, what really amazes me is that you have this condo association that I just heard that they only have 2 cameras in their parking lot. Well, my restaurants are maybe 1/16th, if even that, of the Marina Village, and I have 16 cameras. And I monitor my own lot, and I monitor my own back alley, and when there's a problem, I call the police. And I don't need 3 people watching it, okay? 3 people in that parking lot, it's not going to do anything. Or you're just going to pay people to stand there? And yeah, I mean, look at the people on the side of the road. When they're spinning those things, are they doing their job or are they on their phone? Okay, so let's really be realistic about what's really going on here. Let's fight for downtown, and let's bring these customers down here, and let's not charge them any more than they need to get charged, because we built your downtown, and now you're telling all of us to go away. And I think that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. So you be a commission, you stand strong, you stand with us, and you do what's right. And you fight this, and you do not give us broken promises, you do not do smoke and mirrors, and you do not do it buyer beware. Calm down, invest, and then sorry, we're not going to help you. I've been here for 19 years. I've fought on my own, and I've done a damn good job. So why don't you do your job? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Don Lash. I first came here in 1962. My address is 650 Southeast Ocean in Boynton Beach. I really don't have a dog in this fight. I started working at the Seamist Marina in 1962 on the first Seamist. Years later, I was the first captain on the Seamist 3 that runs out of here. I've known these guys since they were little kids. And you're absolutely wrong, Vivian. If you don't think a $5 charge is the norm, that the people would accept that, there is no way. The clientele that goes on to party fishing boats, you call them drift boats here, and I had my own party fishing businesses in Carolina, so I'm very familiar with this. $5 means a lot to these people. They're not going to pay it. It's going to really hurt the business. If they have 120 spaces available, they should be made available. If the very least, if you come up, I've been here since, before there were gated communities and high-rise condos and valet parking. This is the trend in Florida. This is the new day, and I understand that. But some consideration ought to be given to the people who have been here for generations, working out of the same dock that built this city, built around that inlet. And if it wasn't there, this place might not even exist. So just give a little consideration to these people. Like I say, $5, that might work at downtown Del Rey.
It doesn't even work there. I live there.
It doesn't work.
Excuse me.
It doesn't work. And the lady that was up here before talking about security cameras, she was talking about signs. You got a pawn shop down the road here. You're being watched. They may have a camera, they may not. I don't know. But so a criminal might not know either. There's a possibility that just might be a deterrent, a cheap way out. You talk about revenue generating for a problem that may or may not even exist. It's not just somebody say so.
Thank you.
So anyhow, I don't have anything more to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike Mania, 625 Casa Loma. I'm also a board member at Marina Village. Just to give you guys some background on how all this came about was we started talking about it last year during the winter season. Long story short, it wasn't because of major security problems and stuff like that. It was because in a perfect scenario, there would be great weather, so all the charter boats would be going out. There'd be popular bands at Banana Boat and Two Georges, so everybody would be coming to see them. There would also be football games on and, everybody enjoying that beautiful place. And there's just not enough parking for all the people to be enjoying it at the same time. So what was happening was there'd be 6 cars going all the way to the top of the parking garage, which is for public parking would be in the middle of the second floor. There's a gate there. There's nowhere to turn around. So now you got 4 or 5 cars not being able to make any kind of U-turn or 3-point turn in there, along with residents behind them trying to get in. It was kind of a bad scenario. We had a lot of residents complaining about it because, they can't get to their parking spots, and there was nowhere else to park. At the same time, there's not enough parking for all the people going to enjoy that area. So that's why we came up with this scenario. At the same time, Marina Village shouldn't be the ones paying to take care of that particular area because it's not our customers. So, $5 we figured would be cheap enough to where it won't deter anybody, but it would also, the gentleman that's going to be taking care of this situation, at least he'll be able to conduct business and pay for his expenses and have 3 guys. We have tried last year. We did try a couple things. We put up posts in the middle of the incoming and outgoing traffic, so to keep them, separated so they stay in their lanes. We painted some lines. We also had lot full signs. We put the lot full signs, we can't afford to have people in that garage 24/7, so we have a patrol that patrols it every now and then. They would put up a lot full sign. People would still go in the lot full sign looking for parking, and there was none. So we still had that same problem. People knocked over the posts that we put in the middle of the lanes, just ran them over and kept going. So, we got to come up with some kind of solution. This has been about a year in the making, talking, figuring things out, along with Mike Simon and some of the other marina residents. But something has to be done just because it's a traffic nightmare and there's just too many people. We have to come up with a solution for it. And that's why this all came up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Margie Johnson, 46 Marine Way, Delray Beach. I own Intracoastal Jet Ski and Boat Rentals. My customers probably make more money than these other customers. They're not going to pay the $5. They don't want to pay it in Delray, and those people have tons of money. I live there. Most people walk if they can. They don't want to pay it. There's crime in every garage. The people who bought in Marina Village knew that all of these businesses were there, no matter who owned them. Whether CRA owned them, Two Georges owned them, we owned them. They bought there knowing those businesses were there and that lot was also for our customers. I own a slip in the marina on the other side, so I also have a parking space in there. I think that you are really taking great care to get new businesses in. You are helping them with their build-outs. I think you have to show some respect to the old businesses. I've been there 21 years, and I think we need some respect also. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that everyone? Okay. We've got one more. Well, you've had your time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. One time.
Hi, my name is Kevin Galinsky. I'm district manager of Two Georges. In a perfect world, all businesses would want parking for their businesses. But the fact is that there is public parking in there, but it's not being used by the customers, the people that bring money down to the marina. They're there to spend their money on the boats. It's by employees. It's by the tenants of Marina Village that park there because it's the closest spot to the elevator. It's when they have to leave instead of going up to their designated spot. On the weekends there, it's a madhouse in there. It gets full. People are looking for spots, paying customers that want to come down to the marina and spend money. They drive around. They get up to the top where the gate is, not knowing that there is even a gate there because they're thinking that it's a public parking garage, and they can't turn around, and it blocks up everyone down the way. During the high time season, we actually don't allow our employees to park in that lot because we want those spots for our customers. We have our off-site lot, and we make them walk to and from work. But we also own 21 spots in that garage that aren't being used by our customers because they're first come, first served. They're taken up. There's no monitoring it. So if this does go forward with the thing, I know that we are willing to give up our 21 spots and give them to the general public to use as their parking passes. But that's all I just want to say. Thank you.
Your 21 spots are assigned to you, right?
Assigned to
You
Two
don't own
Georges,
them.
yes.
You-
We could
just
monitor
like
them.
Just like us.
Yes, we could
We're
monitor them.
assigned.
We could tow people out if we knew that they weren't there, but we've kind of never done that. We've let, hoping that it's, the people that are coming down, to use the marina. But the thing is that if it's a $5 charge, if the lot is full, you're not even giving them the option to see if they want to spend that $5. They're just going to go somewhere else because there is no parking. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you be in favor of a validated type stamp parking type thing where you know that the people using that garage are customers, either Two Georges Banana Boat or, Chips Captains there?
Yeah, but I think that in order to do that, you would have to, I'm sure that you'd have to spend a lot of money to pull in, get a ticket.
I can assure you in the end, this is going to cost us a lot of money.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately that would be great. I mean, you know, we have, like I said, we have that off-site parking.
Either
You know,
way,
and
it's gonna cost
I
you.
know that we'd be more than willing to work it out with the other businesses that are around it. You know, help their staff to give them a place to park. So,
Thank you.
yes.
That's something I like, you know, you offer your employees off-street parking.
Mhm.
I like that, thank you.
All right.
I have one question for you. You talked about you might be in favor of validated parking system. You realize, of course, if it's validated, then you pay the parking.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but at least
Okay.
I know that the people that are coming to park there are coming to our restaurants or Banana Boat for the purpose of what the public parking is for, is to come
Right.
down to use the marina. That
Okay, I mean, I just want to make sure you knew
No, 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 I
that somebody was going
understand
to pay
that,
that $5.
No,
Okay.
I understand that, but I
Okay.
mean, at least the parking, we would know who's parking there.
Okay.
One other
Okay,
question.
thank you.
If I may?
Sure.
Go ahead.
You have a parking area south of Ocean, right?
Correct.
What percentage of that area is being used by your employees? You said some of your employees use those public spots.
Correct.
When they should be using that
They
1
do.
minute.
During the high time season, when we want every spot, because we are so busy down in that marina, we have them park at the off-site lot every single day of the week, starting from February 1st all the way till end of March, almost Mother's Day.
Have you ever kind of told them, I don't want to say threaten, that's not a good word, but that not to park there, and there will be consequences of something for
That
them
we-
not to park there?
We tell our employees that this is where you park during these times, that this is our
They
parking
listen,
lot.
and they listen.
Yes.
How do you monitor that? How do you know they listen?
Because we actually know, we know employees' cars, and when we go over and see an empty
Okay.
parking lot over there, and I know I have 40 employees that are working for me right now, and if I have an empty lot, then I know obviously
Okay.
they're not parking where they're supposed
Thank you.
to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I've been listening to everybody, so I'm gonna tell you where I'm at on this. First of all, I've parked in that garage several times, and I guess maybe I came at the right time, because one time I went in there, I wasn't able to park, and I believe I turned around and drove out, and I think I did a 3-point turn or something. Now, you might not be able to do that all the time. If there's, I didn't go up the ramp, I was on the bottom level there. If you're going up the ramp, I guess it might be a problem, people behind you can't turn around. So that would happen on times. So then that would require patience for somebody to back up and let you out. But I have not had any complaints in all this time about people calling me and complaining about not being able to park there. Well, the complaints I'm getting is about how the place is trashed and what goes on in that garage. I've heard a lot of bad stories. I guess people go get drunk, they throw up in the garage, they defecate in the garage, I'm told. They have sex in the garage, all this. So that's not a parking problem, that's a behavior problem. So that needs to be taken care of and controlled. I can tell you that I think I could stand, I've been in there, I could stand there, I talk about 3 guys walking around, I could stand there and view the whole place almost from where public can park by myself. I can see up the ramp, I can see there. I don't know why it would take 3 people to do that. I also don't know if you have a security guard already there. Instead, you have security guards, but he ain't always there, they say. But I don't understand that, because if you had security camera in the garage, and I don't think it would take 1 or 2 to cover that area, it's not that huge, and you connect them to a monitor, and the guy sits, or the woman sits at a monitor and sees everything that's going on. You don't have to be in there personally. You could sit at a monitor and watch what's going on in the garage, and if something's doing wrong, you call the police. I think that could be taken care of. We got the technology today to handle that. I am totally against charging $5 for anybody to park in there. It's supposed to be open public to the public, and it is, and I know that some people, maybe some employees park in there and take up some of the spots, but it's a first-come, first basis. You got boat captains there that have people come on and go on their boats. They get there in time in the morning, they can park in there. I don't have a problem with that. I do not see charging the people, the customers we have coming down there for those businesses. I would go so far as to say, if there's some cost, I think it has to be, we have to look at what's the problems in that garage. Then the CRA, before I would charge people, I would say the CRA needs to budget money and put somebody in there to oversee that garage and take care of it and make sure that it's done correctly to keep it up, but this board needs to work with staff and get to, and whatever it's going to cost to do that, we need to bite the bullet here and do that to keep that open to the public. I do not think that you want to drive away customers, and we've had people there doing business for years. They have a right to get some access for their customers. So I'm totally against any charging anything to get in there. If there is a cost to get it straightened out, we need to bite the bullet and budget for it ourselves. One other question, one other thing I just wanted, there was a comment about, I think it was one of the people from your, said that's not our, the garage is not our customers don't use that garage. Well, we pay $24,000 a year for you into the maintenance fund for that Marina Village, and that's for the entire area. That includes your pool, that includes your indoor, the roads around. You maintain all that. You maintain the roads that go around. You own all that. So all that goes. We're only paying part for that. But to say your customers don't use the garage, we don't use the pool either. We don't use the. Well, somebody said it. We don't use the pool either. We don't use some of the other common areas, but we do pay into it. So it's all one thing. It's a maintenance fee, and it covers that entire area. So that's what we're paying for some of that. I think that was. That's it. I'm just against the charging the public anything, and we need to look at how we can clean up the. I understand if there's a mess there, we need to get it cleaned up, and I can say I think there's a way to monitor that. Gray?
Thank you, Board Chair. I'm in favor of what you just said because I heard somebody say, we said that we want them to come downtown, bill it, they will come. I'm not in favor of the $5 either. We need to look at other alternatives and find out what can we do to alleviate this problem. I'm not in favor of charging $5.
Fitzpatrick?
All right. Back in the 80s, before Marina Village, but there was a plan to put something similar there. I think the developer was from Virginia or something. He was like 70 years old, but I think that's where it started. And I stood at that podium as a private citizen and said, you're trying to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. And, eventually he didn't stay there, but eventually that's what got built. It's too big a property for the site. And, but that's the reality. I didn't vote for that. I've only been here 18 months, but that's what we're dealing with. And so we have to address it. And if you only have a 5-pound bag, which 5-pound goes in it? And my vote is the 5 pounds should be the consumers that come down there and spend the money. So there has to be a way to get them in those limited slots. And $5, you need to lose 2 people because the main point is you have 2 entrances. It's not that one person can stand there. The problem is once you get a dually in there, he's not getting out. And so the object is to have somebody at a gatekeeper, not a valet person, at each gate to keep the people from coming in when it is full. As a fire lieutenant paramedic over 3 or 4 years, I probably made 5 or 6 calls there. And the only reason I was called there, because I was at Station 4 down by the across from McDonald's, is because we're the backup for Station 1. So every time we went, that means Station 1 was already on a previous call. So I'm guessing for every call we went to, Station 1's been to 5 to 10 calls. So there is some sort of ongoing thing that's been ongoing over the years. So something I agree with. One thing was said, there isn't any option for short-term customers. Like somebody came in and got 1 sandwich and is only going to pull up and be gone in 10 minutes. I think that needs to be addressed. But the point is about people driving up and not being stuck and not being able to turn around. Yes, I've been in for some of those calls and cars hit and that sort of thing. So that really does happen. And so $5 does drive away some business, but I think what's the least evil? And I think people keep circling, looking for a space, and then finally get disgusted and leave. I think that causes more of a problem. Personally, I'm not going to pay the $5 because I'm willing to park and walk a couple of blocks. And shuttles work too. Let's see. That's about it. It's a problem, and this is one solution. So if this isn't a solution, what is going to be the solution? If you want to do validation, then I don't care. We could do validation, but that's going to throw the cost directly back to the slip owners, which are slip renters. So, either way, somebody's got to pay. And I'm not really, don't care which way. I'm in favor of a trial period. Like suggested, let's try it for 1 year and see what happens. If you don't want the $5 route, then as been pointed out, the validation's another route. But something's got to be done.
Mr. Chair.
I don't see throwing $5. I don't even know what the problem is anymore. I hear from different people, it's the design of the garage. You can't get in and out, and people are hitting each other in there. I hear another story that there's drugs and sex going on in the parking lot. The gentleman says it's the busiest between 3 and 8 o'clock. I don't know how much sex and drinking is going in there at that time, but if so, there's another problem. I have the CRA director telling me that it's the employees taking up the 58 spots of the 122 that causes a problem. There seems to be multiple problems here, and I don't see a valet or a gatekeeper, whatever title you want to put on a guy, watching the gate solves any of those problems. I think this is what you alluded to, Mr. Mayor. It's that it's a security problem. You get a couple more monitors in there. You get somebody, if anything's going down wrong, you make a phone call to 911. Resolved very simply.
Yes, Mr. Kent.
I'm just, and we've had a lot of discussion here tonight, but I'm not too sure there's anything we do about it, unless we want to just say, as a board, well, we'll pay that fee, because as near as I can tell, and Ken, you can correct me, or Vivian, it's the right of the Marina Village Association to manage that garage as they see fit. And we don't have any say in that. So if they say they're going to charge $5 and set up a system where they're gatekeepers, more camera security and that kind of thing, we have two choices. We can either let the users pay for it, or we can pay for it. Is that not correct, Ken?
Those are your choices.
Okay. And in that case,
And you can pay for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
it
can.
is it is
Yeah,
a
and that's
And that was one of the options they
permissible,
offered. If
use
we'd
of
pay
funds.
for it, they didn't have a problem with
right,
that.
and that's
yeah. They
$54,000.
didn't have to pass it on to their residents.
And
you
that's
know.
$54,000 a year
Well,
out of our budget.
well, it takes care of the problem. We take care of the customers.
Well, and it still doesn't solve the problem, though.
Well, you know, $5 doesn't keep me from running into another car. So to bring about the accident thing, how does charging you $5 to go in there going to keep you from having an accident? That I don't understand that. That doesn't compute.
Well,
it doesn't control anything.
in that they will know that when the garage is full and won't let people in, I think is how that happens. And obviously that $5 effect is going to have different. $5 is going to have different effect on different businesses. I don't think the $5 is going to make one bit of difference. Somebody's paying $650 to charter a boat, and I think, well, that's right. It is going to. I'm talking here.
Please don't talk in the audience.
Right. I just got done saying it's going to affect different businesses different ways, we may need to look at this, but it's going to go on. And if we want to come up with an alternate solution or something that would be acceptable with them, somebody's got to pay.
Well, I'd like to suggest that we have the board come back to us with a couple of options on what it would cost us to do what we need to do in there. Come back and say, okay, if you want to maintain the garage and keep this and this, these are what it would cost you. Bring us back a couple of suggestions, and then because we need to address the problem. And I think the problem there. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah,
The board
and
do.
I'd also like to see that validated parking as an option in that analysis.
Is that a motion?
Chair,
yes,
that's exactly what I was going to suggest, what you just mentioned. Have them come back with a few options, because we got to remember we are trying to market this. We're trying to pull. We don't have a downtown at this time. We're trying to build one, and we want to make sure that we are good neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Two Georges and Banana Boat are talking, but they should, and try to also work out some solution with the property that they have on the south. and also with Gene Moore. That property over there is a possibility that they could use that. So I'm all for letting staff bring back whoever.
I think
Want to put it in the
So I'll
form
put
of
that
a
in the form
motion?
of a motion.
I'll second
Okay,
it.
I'll get you the second to that motion?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I think Board Member Hay hit it right on the head. We're charging for parking, and we don't have a downtown yet. Let's not put the cart before the horse here. I think you hit it right on the head there. We should let the board come back, the staff come back with some recommendations, what it actually would cost us to monitor the situation there. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
So the motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Okay, let's see where we're at here.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, one quick question.
Yes.
They're about to put this system into place. Is that not correct? When's that supposed to go into place?
January 15th.
January
There's
15th?
there's time to do what you've requested
All
of
right,
staff.
so we have a meeting in between.
Yeah,
Okay.
because one of the options he told us he had was if we'd pick up the cost. So that was an option. Okay, item F is 215 CRA board meeting dates.
This
Any
is
question on
for
them?
your information for the next year's dates of the CRA board meetings.
Okay. And then you had, was there one more of the additions that we did not address?
The 26th?
That was on consent.
Okay.
Was one more, you had G and
I think we
H, did
took
we
care of
not
it.
address one of them?
I'm sorry. We need to have the one for 915G. That was 915. We need to have a consideration. 913. I always say that. 913, issuing a notice of intent to dispose of real property for 913
We
North.
already voted on that one.
We did?
Yes.
No, I don't
I
think so.
thought
We
we
did.
did.
That was for
I
MLK.
thought we did. What did we vote on?
Talked about it,
That,
But I
it's a
did.
different thing.
That was for MLK.
that was for MLK.
Oh, Emma, you're
Yeah, we
right,
have
you're
two.
right, yeah. This is for Seacrest?
Yeah, that was for the parcel on 913 North Seacrest. The one that we're transferring to the city.
Oh, the city, okay, so we just need a motion to
Yes.
do
So
that.
moved.
There's
Issue a notice of intent to
A
dispose.
motion second, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, so the motion unanimous. Executive Director's report, do you need to report anything?
That's all the activity under the private and public sector. I've just divided it that way, CRA
Okay,
projects.
it's in your backup, any
Yep.
questions? Okay, and the new business in the CRA district, that's in the backup
Yes,
listed?
there's 3 new businesses.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Hearing nothing, we all set?
All set.
We adjourn.